Three, two, one.
You ready?
You're listening to the Real Pineapple Podcast Network.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you so much for listening. This is the Real Pineapple. This is your humble host, Hunter, here. I hope you're having a great week so far. So I have a review. Oh, this is going to be such a hard review. I have a review for Wander Darkly, which is written and directed by Tara Miele. I believe is how you say her name. Tara Miele, she has written a couple things, including The Nomads, which came out in 2019. That's a movie. It's got Tika Sumpter, Devon Ray. I think that was a BET film. Oh, it was not. I was way off on that. But she's done a couple things here and there. She actually is known best as a director on Arrow for the last couple seasons from 2018 and 2020. And she's also working, she directed an episode of Batwoman. So she's done things here and there, but not a crazy amount. So the weird thing about this movie is that I really can't even tell you what it's about, which is kind of the frustrating thing. So I'm going to dance around this, and I'm telling all of you right now, it is intentional that I'm being this vague, because the movie, it's like a weird combination of a gothic romance mixed with a out-of-body experience film. That's the best way I can describe it. Even the IMDb synopsis is new parents Adrienne and Matteo are forced to reckon with trauma amidst their troubled relationship. They must revisit the memories of their past and unravel haunting truths in order to face their uncertain future. I mean, again, pretty fucking vague. I mean, it's a weird movie, and the best way I can describe this movie, again, without just giving everything away, Adrienne, who's played by Sienna Millera, I really want to shout her out, because she's one of those women I just don't think gets enough credit for just how talented she is. I loved her in 21 Bridges. I thought she was great. She was great in that. Watching her and Chadwick Boseman work off each other was a genuine pleasure to see. I loved their back and forth. Obviously, as Baroness in G.I. Joe Rise of Cobra, she looked amazing. But then you get to something like Lost City of Z and American Sniper. She's a hell of an actress, and this is one of my favorite roles that she's been in, because for where her character starts out to where the character ends up, you really have to feel like you're going through the hero's journey with her, and where she's coming from in regards to her marriage to Matteo, who's played by Diego Luna. Diego Luna, of course, you know from Rogue One, probably know from Book of Life, Milk, to name a couple films. The thing about their relationship is that it's very clear that they've gotten to that point where they're comfortable with each other. There's a new kid, their first kid. That's a new wrinkle in their relationship. They're clearly enjoying being parents, but the thing that's so heartbreaking kind of from jump is that it feels like this kid that they have was very much a last-ditch effort to save something that may or may not be worth saving. And at the end of the day, when you really think about it, that's unfortunately something that I'm sure all of us have seen play out in real life. It's really quite tragic, and them having that talk about it. I can't remember if it's I think it's Matteo who says it to Adrienne. You know, she talks about how, or he talks about how, you know, We just have to get through the first year. Like, you wanted to have a baby, we had a baby. You wanted to have a house, we did that. And Mateo really putting so much of it on him, and her retorting back, going, you want, there's this line, that I believe she dropped saying, you want me to make up a lie to justify your paranoia. Why are we together anymore? That car crash sequence that you see in the trailer, that happens before the 10-minute mark. Like, it's crazy when that occurs. But seeing how Adrienne reacts to the car crash, there is this certain thing that happens with the score that I went, oh my god, this is incredible. And the score, I will say, for me, was one of the biggest pleasant surprises for me, because the film itself, the score doesn't overtake the film. It definitely does its job as far as setting the mood, but it does a really great job of making you kind of almost snap back into focus at points where the movie kind of lets you know, like, you need to be paying attention right here. There are points, and again, I'm trying really hard to not go over, to get into too much, but one of the scenes I loved is that Adrienne flashes back to this point where she meets Mateo really early on, at this house party, and there's a character who shows up there that has more relevance than you may think, and it's really fascinating how the movie portrays that, hey, just talking to this one person. It's also really portraying the butterfly effect here, as far as examining the relationship. The movie does a really good job of saying, well, if this thing hadn't occurred, would they have even ended up together? Or if this thing happens, is there the anger, the frustration that this relationship has really at its roots when the film kind of presents it to you? There's a lot here that the more I watched it, I went, huh, okay. There is one line, and I believe, again, I believe it's Adrienne. I can't remember if it's Adrienne or Matteo. I believe it's Adrienne, though. There's this line that she drops where she's talking to another character, and she goes, my parents are a pain, but not a pain enough that I need to cut them out. Which, I don't know about the rest of you, but I've had to cut people out of my life because of COVID, or just their their feelings about COVID, about it being a hoax or whatever, and all that. And it's an interesting notion, that concept of, when do you cut people out, especially people who are literal blood family, or people that are so close to you that they feel like family. That was something that the movie brought up that I went, I really appreciate that you went there. And the film itself goes to some places that I really don't think enough people will give it credit for. The best thing I can say is that it's a very weird movie. And I mean that in a true compliment. As a true compliment. The cinematography was some of my favorite in the film that I actually saw last year, and I'm incredibly sad that when I did my best of list, I forgot to bring this up as a honorable mention, because I really should have. There's a point where the film flat out even asks, what's the point of life? And at the end of the day, the film doesn't really give you an answer. And that is something that I actually appreciate, because while most films have something to say, I believe this film, at the end of the day, really is just trying to tell us, the royal we, to go ahead and just appreciate life no matter what forms. Take the good with the bad, but at the same time, don't take the people in your life for granted. That's really what I got at the end of the day. And again, there are some moments here where it turns into just more of a horror film than you would even really expect. But that ties into to very specific plot things, so I don't want to go ahead and go through that. But there is one scene that goes from a driving sequence to a scene in the club, and the transition in that, and the way that it's shot, I went, oh my god, that is just beautiful. Like it you'll know the shot when you see it. Um, it's beautiful the way that was shot. I will say that the car accident, I would say pay attention to that when it happens in the trailer and when it is kind of alluded to and flashback to, because there's more in that scene than meets the eye. That's the one thing I will say. And the last thing I will say is I love the way this wraps up. And that's gonna I think for me that's gonna be a big thing for a lot of people as far as your enjoyment on this. Because, and again, I know I'm being vague as hell and normally I'd go full spoilers, but this is a movie I really want people to, the less you know about this movie, the better. I will say for myself, I got a screener for this. I didn't even know what this was. I didn't even watch a trailer for this. I just saw Sienna Millera, Diego Luna. I went, yeah, hell yeah, I love both these actors. Let's watch it. And you are just going to have to kind of discover for yourself and see what you think about it. These types of movies are really hard to pull off. So if this was something that someone didn't like, I would go, you know what? Okay, I probably know why you don't, but let's talk about why you don't. But at worst, this movie will make you talk to people. And I believe people will have strong opinions on this regardless, because again, it's a very polarizing film. I've talked to a couple of my fellow critics who absolutely hated this. I've talked to some people who absolutely love it and actually like it even more than I did. So I know people who are kind of all over the map on this. I myself, I'm way more positive on it. It's something, again, I was really bummed I couldn't find a spot for on my best of, but it's something that I would really tell people, if you like weird shit and you kind of like a bit of a mind fuck, but it's kind of wrapped in almost like a fable too, like, give this a shot. It's something that even if you don't like it, I wouldn't say that you wasted your time, because just off the cinematography and the score alone, I would say this is something that everyone should check out at least once. It'll probably end up on streaming. I mean, Lord knows most things do, but this is something that I'm actually going to buy. I really enjoyed this. And again, if you don't like it, more power to you. But again, I think this is something that people should check out and really kind of decide for yourself. There are some moments of them being at each other's throats that I just found heartbreaking. I was like, God damn, this is really hard. And early in the movie, and this is very early on, so I don't feel bad spoiling this. First off, their kid's adorable. When that kid's a baby, you're like, oh, what a cutie. And I think it's Matteo says this. He goes, date night is cheaper than therapy. We're broke. I don't see you finding a free babysitter. It's like, damn, dude, okay. I'm like, shit. And Matteo really hates Adrienne's mother. That is the one thing I will say. And some of the shit he says about her mother, I went eek. Like, I went eek out loud multiple times, because he is not a fan of hers. But for me, as I wrap up here, this is definitely something everyone should watch. Sienna Millera and Diego Luna, their chemistry alone, I believe, is watching this movie for. But where the movie takes you and the questions it makes you ask about not just our morality and where, we end up when, this game of, our game of life is over, but really what it makes you question about your own relationships. And not even just the romantic ones, just what the love that we are willing to accept, the love that we're willing to give, compromise, like these things that are, no does, but things that I believe will make people think and take that half step back and go, this is well worth your time for that. So, God, for my enjoyment, I watched this a couple months ago, and I still remember like these bits of scenes going, oh yeah, that's right. I really like that bit. And I like that. And I like where the score went here. I'm going to give this an A minus. This is something that I really did enjoy. Again, it's something I do need to buy, but it's something I'll tell people, look, take a couple hours. Oh, by the way, do not look at your phone while you're watching this. This is not a movie that you can look up and go, oh, okay, and go back to your phone. You need to be paying attention for this. So put your phone on silent, turn your phone off, whatever, and really give this movie the attention it deserves, because it does deserve your attention. And it's something that I really do believe that people will watch and enjoy. And it's not even 2 hours. It's barely over 90 minutes, like a hour 37. So it doesn't overstay its welcome. And that was something I was definitely looking for of, oh God, how long is this runtime? Definitely give this your attention and give it your time. I would say it's well worth the watch. But Wander Darkly, everyone. What did you think? Let us know in the comments. You can like us on Facebook at The Real Pineapple. Don't forget to like our gaming page, Real Pineapple Games, on Facebook as well. Don't forget to follow yours truly on the Twitter at JHunterRealPineapple. That's REEL Pineapple. And you can follow Scott on Twitter at Nearman. That's NEARMAN the first. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts. SoundCloud, Apple, Google Podcasts, Podbean, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, and TuneUp, to name a couple places, at The Real Pineapple. Thank you so much for listening, everyone. We'll have reviews coming up here soon for Falcon and the Winter Soldier once that wraps up next week. I'm very excited to talk about that. Oh, it's going to be fun. We'll have reviews up here for WandaVision as well as for the Mighty Ducks Game Changers when that season wraps up, as well as the first 3 Mighty Ducks films. I'm excited to rewatch those. I haven't watched those in a while. And leading up to Fast and Furious 9, we will be reviewing all the Fast and Furious films that we haven't touched on. So I believe that we started with Fast and Furious 6, I want to say. So, yeah, that means we're going to be reviewing all the Fast and Furious films leading up to that. I'm excited. But everyone, thank you so much for listening. Take care of each other. Go get your COVID shot. Wear a mask, and we will talk to you soon.